In 110,000 BC, the Human Empire and the Forerunner Empire would go to war. Reason for this being the Human Empire was trying to escape the flood, which was overtaking all of their territory. The Forerunners believed that the humans were attacking them for reasons of conquest, but in fact they were running from the flood. Eventually, this would lead to a 50-year standoff at Sharum Hakor, in which the Didact would defeat the Lord of Admiral's forces, and the punishment for humanity would be severe, including de-evolving and being rendered completely useless to the rest of the galaxy. After the defeat of the Human Empire, the Forerunners' worst fears were discovered. The flood was real, and soon the debate began: how to stop the flood. Two different things were proposed, one by the Master Builder and one by the warrior servant known as the Didact. The Master Builder proposed the Halo Rings be built that could wipe out all life in the galaxy in the event of a flood takeover. The Didact, on the other hand, proposed the Shield Worlds be built which could protect all life in the galaxy from the flood. Eventually, the Master Builder's plan of the Halos would be chosen over the Didact's Shield Worlds. The Didact would go into exile on Yiratayrene, otherwise known as Earth, and there he would remain in exile for over 1,000 years. The Forerunners had multiple different rates of society. These included builders, miners, life workers, juridicals, warrior servants, engineers, and theoreticals. These different rates were the tiers of Forerunner society, with the builders at the top and eventually the warrior servants at the bottom. This would force many warrior servants to become what would be called builder security to obtain a higher rate. It was possible for a Forerunner to change rate, but this would often involve a mutation of their cells, such as what the Didact performed on Bornstellar. Near the end of the Forerunner Flood War, the Didact would utilize the Composer against the remaining humans in an effort to turn them into Promethean knights. His reasons behind this were revenge motivated and out of desperation to save the Forerunners from the flood. He wished to continue to maintain the mantle and protect all life in the galaxy, but at the cost of humanity. Eventually, his efforts would be stopped by the Librarian, and the Didact would be forced into exile at Requiem for over 100,000 years. On Halo Installation 07, the Timeless One, the supposed last precursor, would manipulate the Contender-class AI known as Mendicant Bias. Mendicant Bias would eventually betray the Forerunners and wage war against them on the Flood's behalf. Eventually, he would be defeated by Offensive Bias, and he would be split into multiple different pieces. One of these pieces would be buried on the Ark by Bornstellar. Another piece would make its way to a Forerunner keyship, and one day be discovered by the San Sayum, and become one of the bases of the Covenant faith. Though the Forerunners would all but disappear from the galaxy after the firing of the Halo Array, their technology and their great works would remain. They would be discovered by other species such as the humans, the San Sayum, and the Sangeli. The Sangeli and San Sayum would worship the Forerunners and revere them as gods, utilizing their technology to build their empire known as the Covenant. They also believed that if they could activate the Halo Array, they could follow the Forerunners into what they believed was a state of divinity known as the Great Journey. Little did they know that activation of these rings would give them the same fate that the Forerunners faced all those years ago. What controlled Forerunner society more than anything was their undying belief in the mantle. Though how they obtained this is still shrouded in mystery. It is believed that it was passed to them by the precursors, though story goes that as they were going to give it to the Forerunners, the precursors deemed that they were unworthy and were going to allow the humans to try to obtain the mantle next. Enraged, the Forerunners would uprise and destroy the precursors, and they themselves would hold the battle. The mantle was a belief that all life in the galaxy must be protected, though the Forerunners would use many questionable actions to obtain this goal. The belief and protection of the galaxy under the mantle was the basis of all Forerunner society. The Forerunners would put massive amounts of time and energy into curing the Flood. Legend had it that humanity, during their own war with the Flood, had cured it. But during the end of the Forerunner-human war, the humans had destroyed the cure in an act of revenge. The Forerunners would seek to reclaim the cure, but would never be able to do so. During the end of the war with the Flood had claimed that humanity had never achieved a cure, and that the entire process had been faked. Whether this had been manipulation at the hands of the Flood, we do not know. But one thing is clear, the Forerunners put vast amounts of their resources into trying to find a cure for the Flood, even to the point that after the firing of the Halo Array, they would still maintain Flood specimens in their laboratories. The Forerunner life worker known as the Librarian, wife of the Didact, laid seeds so that humanity would maintain the mantle after the firing of the Halo Array. She would lay seeds that would eventually culminate in John 117, a man whom she claimed would bring about the mantle to humanity. She would also lay seeds such as Forerunner technology only being able to be accessed by humanity, and a portal on Earth that would lead to the Ark. It was her wish that humankind would be propelled to the top of the galaxy and be its protectors, inheriting the rightful mantle from the Forerunners. The Forerunners, desperate to find a cure for the Flood, would authorize an expedition to Path Chthona. Path Chthona had been rumored to have been visited by Forerunners over 10 million years ago, but this had faded into legend. The Librarian would arrive at the nearby satellite galaxy, and she would discover that the journey had taken place, discovering ancient Forerunner spaceships. Whenever she arrived there, though, she found a galaxy devoid of life, full of precursor star roads. She found no evidence of the Flood and no way to find a cure, but what she did discover was one planet of Forerunners who were living there. These Forerunners appeared different physically from her, and they were only a Tier 7 civilization. A primitive group of Forerunners who were the descendants of those who had traveled to Path Chthona over 10 million years ago. There, the Librarian would be bitten by one of the prehistoric Forerunners, and she would gain knowledge which would lead her to a horrifying discovery. The Forerunners had turned against the precursors and had destroyed them. This knowledge had been long forgotten in the 10 million years that had passed. The Librarian would return back to the Forerunner Ecumene, and her journey would be deemed a failure because she had not found a cure for the Flood. That was 10 facts about the Forerunners. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it has been informative about the Halo lore. Please subscribe, and please leave in the comments down below what you would like to see next. I'm interested in making more top 10 facts videos, any facts about the Halo lore, and Halo lore dedicated videos. Pretty much, if it's related to Halo, I'm very interested in making a video about it if that's what you want. So please, leave in the comments below what you're interested in, and hit that subscribe button for more Halo lore related content coming soon.